Yo, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence, bringing you the latest news, rumors, and discussion on the Nintendo NX, and we've got a big one here, another verified leak. This is a follow-up to what I did as far as the rumor with 10K. If you have not seen that one, check it out. I'll have a link in the description below. Wait till after you watch this though, because you're going to want to hear this information here. Can the Nintendo NX be as strong as the PS4K? Could it be stronger? What type of CPU, GPU is it using? Vulkan? All this different stuff that's coming up? Yo, there's a lot of stuff, so let's go ahead and get right into the information here. So once again, this is a verified leak from the user 10K. The mods have verified this, and what this means is that the NeoGAF mods have actually checked with the sources to see if they would have access to this type of information, and they do. So let's go ahead and get right into it. But I want to preface this by saying take it with the buckets of salt until Nintendo announces anything fully. Just because it's a verified leak does not mean it's going to be 100% true. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. The Nintendo NX gimmick. I was told not to post this part by some people. As usual, take it with a grain of salt, although I don't know why I would be warned if it were false. I'm not under NDA though, and well, it could end up being false, but I was told a variation of this by 3 different sources. I don't believe they have any reason to lie to me, so here goes. The Nintendo NX is going to have a screen controller, whether it's optional or standard, I don't know, and can be used anywhere to play your home console games. The controller itself will not have any processing capabilities. It'll essentially be a dummy Vita. It'll likely have a basic OS function to access the NX console from anywhere, a tiny CPU. Nintendo will use enhanced Wii U gamepad streaming tech and allow the controller to be taken anywhere. Connect to the Nintendo NX console at home, likely through Wi-Fi or personal hotspots. The Nintendo NX console will likely have to be in standby mode. Basically, it's remote play built into the box and won't require a $200 add-on to experience it like the PS Vita and the PS4. This is likely what Kimishima meant in his interview with Sankai. Different way to play with a dedicated machine and the whole new way to experience games mantra that has been going around Nintendo PR. Speculation. This is speculation on his part. Nintendo could also sell personal hotspot USB adapters to get internet anywhere and plug either directly into the controller or wall outlet to not drain the controller battery. Supplementary computing devices may actually be portable hotspot devices with chips in it to boost the quality of the stream. Maybe the NX will be called the Stream, a speculated final name during the WUSTs. Note, this does not mean there will not be a handheld. This isn't meant to be a replacement for the handheld, as there will still be limitations and the controller won't have a full OS or the capability for physical game media, discs, or cartridges. The needs of a handheld won't be fully met with this feature. It's just a nice add-on. Tier 2 rumors. Luigi's Mansion 3 is in development for the Nintendo NX. The rumor gained popularity a while ago from Gino, but this isn't my source. This was a T1 to start with today, but I got another source to give me some more info on it. The 2 different sources have told me that it is in development for the Nintendo NX, and one source said it's being developed by Next Level Games, who is big enough to do this and Federation Force at the same time. One source said it started as a Wii U game, but ever since the disappointing performance of the Wii U and the scheduled release date for the game being late in the console's life cycle, Nintendo decided to switch development over to Nintendo NX. Basically the same situation as Zelda Wii U. No word on if this game will also get a Wii U release though. The other source said it's a pretty big deal. He didn't elaborate if he meant Nintendo is making it or an employee stealth edited his post later last year. Tier 1 rumor. The Nintendo NX will use a custom Polaris-like GPU. Likely will be on FINFET 14 nanometer fabrication node. The source told me that it's the same architecture with heavy customizations, of course. It will also contain the feature set of Polaris. It is, quotations, marginally better than the PS4 and could theoretically be 2 times the power of the PS4 GPU. I asked about PS4K being rumored to have GPU 2 times as powerful as the OG PS4 and how the theoretical performance of the Nintendo NX would be, and was told, quotations, theoretically it could be close to the PS4K rumored specs. Of course, we know nothing about the Polaris or the PS4K specs, but he gave that metric. I'm going to paraphrase here, but one comment from a source about the power of the Nintendo NX was that, quote, devs could port over PS4 games easily and have power to spare, even the most demanding ones. My own theory is that any game that dips below 30 frames per second on PS4 will likely stay at 30 frames per second on NX and have some enhanced effects. One feature he touted, which improves performance greatly in games, especially graphically demanding ones such as AAA open world games, is Primitive Discard Accelerator. NeoGAF member described it as, so 14nm is still likely in 2016, and Nintendo could still sell it at a reasonable price and not lose too much money or break even. The Nintendo NX GPU is using features that are debuting on the Polaris chip, and therefore there's heavy speculation to be a Polaris chip. So that would work well in a handheld too. And some AMD prove that they can have low wattage chips with good performance for small devices. GameCube, the 1.3 Vulcan, Primitive Discard Accelerator, etc. Nintendo is using the Vulcan with the NX. This goes hand in hand with the Polaris-based GPU and goes with the announcement of Nintendo joining Kronos. But the dev I spoke with about the GPU, who was porting a PS4 game to Nintendo NX, said Vulcan is ready yet. As of 2015 December SDK, should be an update in May. And they are using a variation of the PS4 API, GMNX. Until Vulcan is ready, Nintendo providing some nice tools like GMNX to help devs port from PC, Xbox One, and PS4 to Nintendo NX. Most dev kits won't be given until Nintendo formally reveals the NX. As my previous post indicated, Nintendo was none too happy with the leaks and is keeping things on lockdown, outside of close partners and internal teams. Most devs are using SDKs until the official NX reveal. It's not a big deal, but I was told the specs pretty much final as of now, and the May update will likely be for the final spec sheet and not target specs. Mercury Steam, these are the developers who made Castlevania Lords of Shadow, they have a development kit and is making an already announced game for the Nintendo NX. The only announced game they have is Raiders of the Broken Planet, currently under development for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This is likely it. Final Fantasy 15 on Nintendo NX. My single source on this said that he's heard more of his sources mention it's coming to Nintendo NX. No idea when. I pressed for Final Fantasy VII Remake, but nobody has heard about it. The GAF's very own mod, Kagari, hinted that Sony could have co-funded it and may never get it released outside of PS4 and PC like Street Fighter V. Nintendo NX will likely launch at different times per region. Only heard this from one source, but it does make sense if Nintendo NX does use 14nm chips, as there's a risk of not having enough of those chips ready on store shelves by holiday 2016. No regions were specified, but one would assume with the slow adoption of consoles in Japan and the popularity of handhelds over there, the Nintendo NX will launch in the West first, like some past Nintendo consoles. Consoles are more popular outside of Japan, likely North America and Europe. There are lots of Nintendo NX games in development. One source told me to post this, so I won't edit it at all. New IP are being developed. I asked this because I noticed that some complaints about how there was no leaks about new IP and Nintendo NX was looking like another Mario/Zelda factory with a bunch of remasters and ports. The source said, quotations, "I'm not allowed to give specifics, but that's a sure bet as far as new IPs coming to Nintendo NX. Now, if you'll excuse me, two well-dressed Japanese men are at my door." Okay, so let's talk about this. I don't want to go off too much on it because there's a lot of different information here, but this is good. We did not hear this stuff with the Nintendo Wii U. We did not hear this stuff. All we heard about it is a big controller and that there's going to be some ports, but some developers were complaining about the power of the system, that the CPU. What we're hearing with these leaks and these rumors is that this system is not going to repeat the same mistakes Nintendo's made for the past couple generations as far as an underpowered system. They're going to bring out a system that's powerful, that's going to be able to easily handle games that are already out, and going to be able to actually add effects to those games. Now, Luigi's Mansion in development, that is a big one because this is the second time we've heard this before, Gino, of course, but now from different sources that Luigi's Mansion is coming. And this seems to me like a given, and I'll tell you the reason why. Look at the sales of Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon. Not only is that game like not dropping in price, so that game's been selling at 30 to 40 bucks since it launched years ago, but it is one of the best-selling games on Nintendo 3DS. It sold ridiculously well. So well that Shigeru Miyamoto actually freaking autographed something and sent out like handwritten letters to the team about the sales of the game, which you don't hear about often, especially to an American studio that they have here. So that's interesting, and I really do think that this game is going to come out for Nintendo NX. This game has a huge fan base of people who absolutely love it, and Nintendo 3DS sales spiked when Luigi's Mansion came out. I can see Nintendo saying, look, this game sold big on this system. If we can put it on the Nintendo NX near launch or around that time, and it comes out and it's just like amazing graphics, and they actually add some multiplayer, which the 3DS version did have. It completely didn't need it, but it had it, and it's actually halfway decent. This could be a big game for Nintendo. So I definitely think that's going to be happening. Federation Force, they probably got like three developers on that game. No, I'm joking. I am joking. I'm joking. So let's talk about the Nintendo NX gimmick. So this is something where, if this is true, I definitely think that there's going to be 2 bundles. There's either going to be 2 bundles, or it's just going to be optional to where you buy it for like $100 for the controller. And just as long as it's ergonomical, which I think it will be, just as long as it's not just a huge controller, maybe it's the size of a PS Vita or it's a little bit smaller, then I'm completely fine with that. The problem that I had with the Wii U gamepad was that it was just too big and bulky. It was really tough for me to play Smash Bros on this controller. But I do think that Nintendo's going to give you the option to be able to use like a Wii U Pro controller, something like that, just a regular Bluetooth, to be able to hook up and play the games, possibly have a GameCube controller support with the USB adapter, probably support that at launch, because there's big rumors that Smash Bros is coming, so you're going to want to have that GameCube controller support. So I definitely think that this time they can make it work. And I said this before, there's not everything wrong with the Wii U. The Wii U actually has some good stuff about it. And that streaming tech, which Nintendo doesn't get enough credit for, but that streaming tech in the Wii U is top notch. It blows PS4 to PS Vita out of the water. So if they could advance on that, and if they can make that better to where you can play the games anywhere and it doesn't get a disconnecting signal, and it's ergonomical, and it's, well, more ergonomical. The Wii U gamepad is somewhat, but it's not so big. If it's smaller, more compact, more sleek, and you can play games anywhere, you don't have to worry about being close enough to the console, that will be good. That is what the Wii U possibly should have been from the very beginning, and I think people will gravitate to that. Now, whether it's in the box or not, that's going to be something that Nintendo's going to have to work out, obviously, but I do think that if the system is powerful and that gimmick is good, because that is a good gimmick, that is a good gimmick. If that works, oh my gosh, if they do it that way and the system is as powerful as it's saying here, people will be willing to pay for that, because I think that is a fantastic gimmick, because to me, that's really not much of a gimmick. That's just, okay, you can play your games somewhere else. Like, you can play your games, that's cool. I don't think the PS Vita remote play is really a gimmick. It's just a new feature to add. Just whether it comes standard with it or not, that's going to be the thing, but we're just going to have to wait. But either way, if that's the gimmick, then I'm completely fine with that, because that just basically means you can play your games anywhere you want. And you can take it even further. So this takes the gimmick of the Wii U and blows it out of the water with, like, completely. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to make a controller as big as the Wii U gamepad, just because they got so many complaints. So I'm actually completely fine with that. If that's the gimmick, then I'm cool with that. So let's talk about the Polaris GPU and all that. And this is good. Once again, this is going to be a strong GPU. We're hearing about that. And that's one of the things that Nintendo did okay with the Wii U, I guess, because the GPU was stronger. It was not bad. It was just the CPU was having issues, but it seems to me like they're getting everything straightened out here, because the GPU is looking good. It's going to be using the Vulkan, so it goes hand in hand, like he said, with the Polaris-based GPU. Nintendo did join Kronos, so that's definitely good. So they're looking at the technology that other people are using and saying, okay, well, what can we do? The fact that they talked about open, graphically demanding AAA open world games, and it's using the primitive discard accelerator, that's good stuff there. This seems to me like the second coming of the GameCube. Super powerful, more efficient, but somehow cheaper. But somehow it can be a little bit cheaper. This seems to me like it's the perfect fusion. The perfect fusion of what we wanted from Nintendo back in like 2006. You know, what we thought the GameCube, like, 2, if Nintendo was ever to make a GameCube 2, this is aiming up to be that. What if it was the GameCube 2? Oh my god, oh my god. But I doubt that they would do that. But like you said, one of the names could be the Nintendo Stream. That would be interesting. Let's move on to the last couple things here, because it looks to be like a sure bet at 2016 launch. We all know this. But I think launching in Japan in 2017 would probably be a good idea, because they can just go on 3DS. There's a lot of games still coming. You have the new Pokemon game. That's going to move units in Japan. You still have a Yokai Watch coming out. That's going to move crazy units in Japan. There's still a lot of games. Puzzle and Dragon X or whatever that's coming out in Japan. That's 3 big games that are multi-million-dollar sellers coming out for the 3DS this year. The 3DS is fine. That can carry sales for Nintendo in Japan for the rest of the year. I think they should wait and release it. Sony did the same thing with the PS4. Started out slow, but PS4 sales are picking up in Japan. So I think Nintendo might be good to do that and focus on where console gaming is big, and that is America and Europe. You need to focus all of your marketing dollars, get people to see all this stuff here, advertise it well, completely like distinguish it from the Nintendo Wii, Nintendo Wii U, let people know that this is Nintendo. This is Nintendo. This is not Wii. This is Nintendo. We got a quality system here, and it's shaping up to be amazing. I love the fact that they talked about Final Fantasy. We're hearing multiple sources now that say that Final Fantasy 15 is going to be on Nintendo NX. Hopefully it's a launch title, but if it's not, it could have enhanced effects. It could be a better version of the game. So I am so down for this. We'll probably find out at E3, guys. I'm thinking that they're going to bring out Square Enix. They're going to say, yo, we got Final Fantasy for you guys. And if they do that, that's a drop the mic moment. Even though it's coming to the PS4 and Xbox One, I'm telling you, a lot of people are going to be like, okay, Nintendo's serious. As soon as this game is announced, Nintendo's serious. So that's good. The fact lots of NX games in development, we've heard about this before. Dr. Sirkin Toto talked about this as far as multiple Bandai Namco games being in development. These developers, they want to make money, and if they can easily port their games like this is saying, they're going to get games. And that's the problem with the Wii U. You can port games to it, but it was not easy. The architecture was different. It was not easy. A lot of developers just quit after they didn't see the sales. This is different. Get the easy ports, easy money for you at launch, especially if this system is marketed well and if this system is as good as they're saying it is, and Nintendo brings the heat with their own first-party games to get a high install base from the very beginning. New IP being developed, like to hear that. I would love to see Nintendo develop some new IP or even revisit dormant IPs such as Golden Sun and Eternal Darkness. Heck, even Star Tropics maybe. A lot of good stuff here. Man, oh my God. I am excited. Once again, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what's coming of this. Remember, this is still rumor. Nothing's guaranteed. He is a verified leaker, but this is still rumor, so take it with a bucket of salt. But we're starting to hear a lot of stuff over and over again. And where there's smoke, there's definitely some fire. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So please hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And also subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks, and everything on the Nintendo NX. It's going into overdrive, guys. Stay tuned. Thank you so much. We'll see you for the next video. Peace.